It's April 14th on Read Through the Word. Hope that you are having a good day or about to start your day. Things are going on schedule, right? We live by the 5 and 10 minute schedules. Maybe your day's wrapping up. However, I find you today. I hope that you have either been blessed through the day or you are going to experience a blessed day. We are taking our teaching today, and I am holding my phone and for a reason, and I'll tell you in just a second, from 1 Samuel 18. David is getting recognized for his military power. He's getting recognized for his leadership, and Saul doesn't like it. Saul has attempted twice to take David out of the picture, pinning him to the wall. Scripture says in verse 11, he's tried twice to pin him to the wall. He's put him on the front line of battle. Whatever he could do to try to get rid of David, he would. But he's not going to, because he is the anointed king, the next anointed king. Scripture tells us in verse 9, so from that time on, Saul kept a jealous eye on David. As I sat down to do our teaching today, I thought about envy and jealousy. In fact, both of them are listed in one gospel and 2 letters that Paul wrote as sin. Mark 7:21 through 23, if you are taking notes, 2 Corinthians 12:20, and Galatians 5:20 and 21. Refer to jealousy, and I think it's Paul's letters talk about jealousy and envy both being sin. And it's one of those things where we don't really want to think of it as sin because it's really not hurting anyone, right? It's not hurting. It's not an outward expression. It's not, my jealousy is not expressed outwardly, right? Not in Saul's case. Not in Saul's case. And if we don't learn to keep jealousy in its place, in other words, deal with it in our lives, it can really take over our lives. Jealousy and envy both. I didn't put this link in today's lesson, although I did include 2 really good links about jealousy specifically. So I would love for you to take a look at those. And even if you don't think you have a problem with jealousy, go ahead and arm yourself. I'm guilty at times of going, oh, well, I don't deal with that, or that's not in my wheelhouse, or whatever we can do to arm ourselves with truth at any given time, we need to. Because any sin is just a breath away, truly, for the believer. Satan will tempt us. He will test us. He will put it right in front of our face at any given time. So let's go ahead and arm ourselves with these truths. So take a few minutes and check out those links. This link I did not include because as I sat down, it just came to my mind. Maybe we need to discuss the difference between envy and jealousy. This is in gotquestions.org, and you can just type in envy and jealousy in the search box and it'll pop it up, or you can just put it in your browser and it'll pop it up. The difference between envy and jealousy is a fine one. So it's very easy to have both. Envy always has an outward focus. We desire some item or person or attribute possessed by someone else, and we're having discontent and resentfulness in not having it. So if you've got something I want, I'm going to have envy. If you have some kind of attribute, I can have envy because I want that. Jealousy is found in a more restricted context of the protection of one's own items, relationships, and they put especially romantic relationships. You can envy someone else for his girlfriend, but someone flirting with your girlfriend makes you jealous, not envious. You're jealous because you're trying to protect something that is your own. I loved this when I opened it up. I said, I need to share that today because it really does help me have a more clear picture of Saul. He is in danger, and he knows it. He's in danger of losing control of his country, his nation. And his leadership is slipping right from his hands. Even his son is slipping right out of his hands. So he is doing everything he can to protect what is his. So he is jealous of David because David is slowly but surely taking all of that away from Saul. Not on purpose. It's all part of God's plan. And David has great respect for Saul. That's one of the things that I think I really like. One of the things I really love about David is the fact that he could have taken Saul out several times, but he didn't. He continued to serve at the pleasure of the king, even when he was getting spears thrown at him. Even when he was sent out on the front line, he served at the pleasure of the king because he knew that God had appointed Saul king. And Saul was his king until he knew otherwise. So he kept doing what he knew to do until he knew to do something else. I put the definition from dictionary.com of jealousy here today, just for you to have. I know I have unexpectedly read that from questions.org. So now you've got two great definitions, working definitions of jealousy and now envy also. And just thinking about this whole idea of jealousy is, wow, wouldn't Jonathan be one that would be trying to fight for his position, what was his, because he was the next in line to be king? Couldn't Jonathan also have been envious of David because everybody was supporting him everybody was supporting David rather than him to be the next king or the next leader? So just walking through chapter 18, I just picked out some points here that we can hang our hat on. You know how I am. I'm pretty succinct, and I like my words I want them to rhyme or float or something because that's who I am as an author. But these D's, these are the dangers of jealousy. These D's, they will direct our focus. They will dictate our reactions and our responses. Jealousy, wrong jealousy, because there is right jealousy, by the way, righteous jealousy, and that's a subject for another day, but you could actually look that up as well. So I'm calling dangers of jealousy can wrongly direct our focus, dictate our reactions and our responses, drive our emotions. Saul became so fearful and paranoid. Remember how strong and brave he was at pushing through and fighting the Philistines. And remember, he was out farming when they called him to go and fight. I mean, he completely turned. And I know God turned his back or turned his hand away from the protection, away from Saul. I get that. But this is what jealousy can do. It can also derail us as life as we know it. It can consume us to the point where all we think of is protecting what is ours. Or if envy creeps in, getting what someone else has. Like Jonathan could have very easily been envious of David. So because Jesus and Paul speak so strongly against the sin of jealousy and the sin of envy, it is something that we as believers need to arm ourselves, as I said earlier, and guard ourselves against, because we are but just a breath away. We are just a glance away. We are just in a moment could feel threatened by the things that we have because someone else is doing it better. Someone else is getting more recognition than us, and we're losing our grip on things. So here's some great tools, great verses, several links here, even the one I said today from gotquestions.org, to arm yourself. And if this is a struggle that you deal with, which I have in the past, definitely been envious, struggled with envy and struggled with jealousy, to the point where at times I felt almost completely derailed from my calling because I was focusing on other things. So arm yourself, gird yourself up with these truths, tuck them away. If you don't need them today, you might need them tomorrow, or maybe someone you know needs them today, and you can share them. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you next time on Read Through the Word.